Today's Namaste Yoga is another beginner's class on Warrior 1 and Warrior 3 pose. Hello and welcome to episode 157 of Namaste Yoga. Thank you to all of you who have started to leave your comments and 5-star ratings on iTunes. And I have a few to share with you today that I've got here on Tim's iPhone. So patience, because I got to use my little eyes here. So the first one comes from Demonska. So these are usernames, I think. And it says, thank you for renewing my love for yoga. I just found your podcast and I am so happy to start practicing yoga again after I had my son and stopped practicing. With all the chaos, I wasn't able to find time to practice at a studio. Being able to practice in my own home is amazing. Thank you. And then this one is from Deb. I have been practicing yoga using Melissa's podcast for about a year now. She's a fantastic teacher, and I feel like I am in her personal studio when I settle in for one of her classes. Her podcasts are the perfect length, and she addresses the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of yoga. I've shared these wonderful podcasts with many of my friends. Thank you. And family. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing your gift of yoga with so many. And the final one is from Joy, which is awesome. Joy is one of my research assistants, and she just helped me put together a whole brand new class for the membership site that's going up. And we're going to be filming it tomorrow, actually, Yoga for Sciatica. So thank you, Joy, the awesome Joy. Melissa West is so wonderful. Honestly, didn't pay her to say that. I tell everybody about my yoga guru in Canada. She means so much to me. I love being able to do my yoga with such a wonderful, light-hearted woman. She is so down to earth, very funny, and so sweet. She produces yoga for real people, and I love when she'll say, yoga is not a spectator sport. I feel like her yoga is a safe place I can come to when I am having a crappy day. Her classes have a lot of variety. I feel like I am always learning something, and she goes at a perfect pace for me. I am so grateful that Melissa decided to follow her calling and provide such beautiful yoga classes for free so that people like me who can't afford classes can join. And it looks like there's even more. So Joy is like a great example because Joy started connecting with me, and she's a massage therapist in the States, and you know, I saw that she had this great background in anatomy, and so we got her doing work for us on the membership site now. So we love building great relationships here on Namaste Yoga, and we have a fabulous relationship with our clothing sponsor, Donna from squeezed.ca, and I'm wearing the triple goddess design today on my Squeezed yoga shirt, and then the matching capri pants too. So thank you to Squeezed Yoga Clothing at squeezed.ca. Fabulous Canadian company, ships worldwide. Just absolutely love their clothes. And all the clothes are made in Canada, so no sweatshops, no child labor. That my daughter was talking about that this morning, about all the child labor in China this morning, and I was saying, you know, Squeezed is one of the only companies that I know that doesn't do that. So, and then also our amazing yoga mats that come from Dusky Leaf, and our blocks, and my giant bag that holds everything at duskyleaf.ca. And Dusky Leaf ships within Canada. And so if you live in Canada, you can get 10% off with the coupon code DR Melissa, and that's almost over. Expires December 31st, 2012, so you want to get in on that. Okay, so let's get to our class for today. Because it is a beginner's class, I'm going to go over what you can expect to have happen today. Today's class is on Warrior 1 and Warrior 3 pose. So those are standing postures. So in our yoga class, we start lying down on your back in Shavasana. And the reason for that is that it gives your body a chance to release tension at the beginning of class to gravity. And also gives you a chance to turn your attention inward and your focus inward to begin to focus on your breathing, to begin to focus on your body and its sensations. So in your day-to-day life, your attention is being pulled in tons and tons of directions. And in yoga, you want your focus to be on yourself and on your breath and your sensations in your body. And so that time is a nice transition to start to pull your attention back into yourself. After you lie in Shavasana, we begin to do some preparatory poses to prepare your body for those standing postures that we'll be doing today, Warrior 1 and Warrior 3. And actually, in today's class, what we're going to be doing is almost mimicking the Warrior 1 posture that you're going to be doing standing up. First, we'll be mimicking it lying down on your back. Then we'll be mimicking it kind of from a kneeling position. We'll also be mimicking Warrior 3, that balancing pose from all fours too, kind of recreating them from easier positions before you come up and do them from standing. And then we'll be doing the poses, your peak poses. So the class builds so that you come up to standing. Then when we finish Warrior 1 and Warrior 3, we're going to finish, because your body's had a chance to come into those shapes, we'll take advantage of the fact that your body's had a chance to come into those shapes with a really fun posture called Happy Baby Pose, which will just be kind of a fun way to finish. And that will come back to lying down on your back. And then we'll finish back again. The whole class circles back down so that you'll be on your back in Shavasana. And this just gives yourself a chance to receive your practice and to integrate it and take it all in, so that you have a chance to receive your practice. So that's what to expect today. And we'll start by getting you to lie back in Shavasana. So I think we've done 4, this might even be our 5th beginner class now. I've gone over how to come into Shavasana 4 or 5 times now. So we'll kind of take it a little bit as read now. Like, you know how to lie down now. So you can go ahead and lie down on your back. And if your low back bothers you at all, you can place a bolster under your knees or bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. Your feet should be about hip width apart. You can let your feet roll out. That's how if they're long on the ground, just let them roll out. That's how they'll be in a relaxed position. Turn your palms up beside you with your hands a comfortable distance from your sides. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you so that your shoulders are resting back towards the ground. Check in with your neck. Make sure your chin and forehead are on the same level. And if you can do anything to make yourself a little bit more comfortable, go ahead and do that now. Take a deep breath in and let it fall out of your mouth. Allowing yourself to land here now, to settle in. So notice what it's like to be lying here on the ground right now. Feel the back of your body connecting to the ground underneath you. And let it sink in and rest heavy, allowing any tension to sink out of your back body. Feel the back of your heels on the ground. Feel the parts of your legs that are connecting with the ground, and allow your legs to get heavier. Feel the back of your pelvis heavy on the ground. Allow your rib cage to sink into the ground. Let your shoulders be heavy, like heavy weights dropping into the ground. Feel your arms rest heavy on the ground and your hands. Feel the weight of your head sink even heavier into the ground. Now become aware of your breathing. And each time you breathe out, allow yourself to release any tension, worry, stress, drama, anything that doesn't serve you right now. Let it go on each exhalation. So Warrior One pose is really about feeling your center and standing your ground. So feeling your place on the earth. Warrior One is about your awareness of where you stand and your awareness of what it is to look out from where you stand, to look out into your life. So as you rest here in Shavasana with your eyes closed and all the external drama shut out, in yoga, that's called pratyahara. We start to close off all the senses. It's like sensory deprivation. And so you start to close off all that external noise. And you start to come inward and get a truer sense of your place. So as you lie here, you can start to know, this is what it really feels like in my body. This is how I feel. Not how anybody else feels, or not how anybody else wants me to feel. But this is how I feel in this moment, right now. And with so many things and people competing for our attention, this practice of pratyahara, of closing, of turning our senses inward, and really checking in with where we stand. This is an invaluable practice in yoga. So check in. What's going on in your life right now? How do you feel in your body, in your mind, in your emotions, when you close off all those external messages? What is your inner self telling you? And that's what Warrior One is really about, taking a good look. Taking a good look at your life. So from here you can start to form your intention for your practice once you've turned off all that external noise. And you've got a sense of, hey, this is what I really feel today, how my body feels, where my emotions are at, where my mind is at. This is what I need from my yoga practice today. That can be your intention for your yoga practice. That's why you're practicing today. So you can form your intention for why you're practicing your yoga today. And then you can begin to wiggle and stretch out. Okay, so as you're stretching out and wiggling and stretching out, I'm going to join you on lying on your backs. And we're going to begin with a yoga posture called Apanasana, or knee to chest pose. And we always start with your right side because that's your ascending colon. And you want to put pressure on your ascending colon first so that you put pressure on your descending colon last. So that this is a pose that's great for constipation. So if you were to go backwards, you would constipate yourself. So we want to go the other way so we help your elimination work in the right flow. So this is going to be great to help get your body ready for Warrior One. So what you're going to do is slide your right leg in, so your right knee is bent, and then fold your right knee in. And then in order for it to be super safe for your knee joint, just reach around underneath your right knee and hug your knee into your chest. And this is nice and safe for your knee joint. And then your leg is going to press onto your ascending colon here. And we're just getting your low back stretched out and your glutes stretched out here for Warrior One pose. Let your shoulders be heavy. Take nice, long, deep breaths. And then from here, we're going to move into a position that's even more similar to Warrior One, where you're going to reach around and hold onto your foot so that your right leg's at like a right angle. And if you can't reach, you can take a strap and hold on to it like that. So it's kind of like lunge pose on your back. And it is like lunge pose on your back. So this gets you ready for the deep knee bend that comes in Warrior One. It's kind of like Warrior One on your back, kind of like lunge pose on your back. So we're just taking the pose in different orientations to gravity, preparing your body for Warrior One. Space between your teeth so your jaw is relaxed. Long, slow, deep breaths. Okay, and then you can release your right leg and lower it down to the ground. And just take a moment here to feel the difference between the right and your left side, so you can feel the effect of what's happened on your body. And then we'll repeat that process on your left side. So you're going to slide your left leg in, fold your left knee in, and then hold on behind your left knee, pressing into your descending colon now. Nice long, slow, deep breaths. Shoulders are heavy and relaxed. And let the back of your pelvis be heavy on the ground too. And then straighten your left leg up and reach around and hold on to either side of your left foot, drawing your left knee towards your armpit for lunge pose, lying on your back. And then release your left leg and slowly lower it to the ground and slide it back out. Take a deep breath in and let it fall out of your mouth. Great. Okay, from here we're going to come up to kneeling. So bend your knees, roll to your right side, and we're going to come into lunge pose. So this will be like doing a mini version of Warrior One. So start on all fours, and we'll start by walking your left leg forward. And so this time, we're going to use the same principles of this time lengthening your right ascending colon. Instead of compressing your right ascending colon, we're going to lengthen the right side first as opposed to the left side. So we're following those same principles of working right versus ascending versus descending colon first. So this time you're going to walk your left foot forward. Take your hands on either side of your left foot. Now you're going to sink heavy into your left foot and come upright. Tuck your tailbone under, reach your pelvis forward, and then we're going to do a mini version of Warrior One by taking your arms straight up. Now, if this is bothering your back knee, then what you can do is actually fold up your mat a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to do this because you don't want to bother your knees. You can actually roll up your mat a little bit so that you've got padding underneath your knee joint. Because your knees are precious and you don't want to hurt them. So, there. Much better. Happy knees, yay! It's good to take the time to do that, to look after your knees. And then you can slowly arc your arms back down, and we'll switch sides on that. So you can bring your left leg back, and this time you'll step your right leg forward and take your hands on either side of your right foot. Now sink heavy down through your right foot, come up to your knee, tuck your tailbone under, reach your pelvis forward, and then arc your arms up. So if you're finding a hard time finding your balance here, you need more weight pressing down through your front right foot. And breathe nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Relax your shoulders down. So you can see that Warrior One pose is a pose where you face your life head on. There's no hiding your head in the sand. And then slowly arc down. And I'm going to get you to come back onto all fours. And you might even want to just keep that double rolled up mat here, because we're going to do some balancing from table position here. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders and keep your knees underneath your hips. And if your wrists bother you at all, you can always come up onto fists with your elbow creases facing each other so that your wrists are straight here. Okay? From here, you're going to take your right leg to the back of your mat, your left arm to the front of your mat. You're going to lift up through your pelvic floor, draw your pelvic floor up, draw your navel back to your spine, bring your ears back over your shoulders, and then you're going to lift your arm and your leg. And breathe long, slow, deep breaths. So this balancing pose is going to help prepare you for Warrior 3 when you come up to standing. Okay, and then lower your left arm and your right leg. Bring your right knee in. And then we'll switch sides. So this time you're going to take your left leg to the back of your mat and your right arm to the front of your mat. And you're going to lift your right arm and your left leg. Keep drawing your navel back towards your spine to support your low back. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. So you can see the warrior poses take strength and endurance. It takes courage and strength to be a warrior. And then bring your arm and leg in, and we'll do child's pose as a counter pose. So sit your butt back on your heels, bring your arms forward and lower your forehead to the ground. And if this bothers your knees, you can always lie on your back with your knees to your chest. You may even want to bring your hands down by your feet here. Okay, from here, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lift your head, and tuck your toes under. You're going to roll onto your feet, and we're going to roll all the way up to standing from here. Okay, from standing, we're going to start by practicing a pose called chair pose. And the reason for that is in Warrior 1, I want you to focus on sinking through your buttocks, through your hips, rather than bending your front knee, because that will allow you to take the pose into your strong glute muscles rather than your weak knee joint. Doesn't that sound like a good and smart idea? Yes, it does. So stand somewhere on your mat, doesn't matter where, and take your feet underneath your hip bones. Spread your toes nice and wide. And your feet should be parallel to each other. Take your arms out in front of you. You're going to inhale. Draw your shoulder blades back. And you're going to exhale and you're going to sit back as though you're sitting into one of those little kindergarten chairs. Okay? And just do that again and see what that feels like, sinking your buttocks back, sinking your glutes back. That sensation of hips, of the hip joint going back and dropping your sit bones. That's what I want you to feel that feeling of. So inhale, come up. Exhale, sit your sit bones down. Okay, feel that. It's not going to feel exactly the same in Warrior 1. Inhale up, exhale, sit down. Okay, and you can stay. Keep your tailbone tucked under. And I want you to feel that. It feels a little different when you do it just on one side, but that's the kind of feeling that we're going to be going for in Warrior 1, of sinking the here rather than bending here. Okay? So sinking in your hip joint rather than bending your knee joint, because your glutes are so strong. This is a really strong muscle. This knee joint, super weak. So we want to keep the power here. Not here, okay? So we'll just hold and breathe here. And I have some Dan Millman quotes for you today from the Peaceful Warrior, because the warrior poses are all from the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the main texts of spiritual texts of yoga. And Dan Millman's Peaceful Warrior is basically a modern day rewriting of the Bhagavad Gita. So this quote I have for you here. Dan Millman says, "Live in the moment and empty your mind of trash." Great. So shake it out. Great. Okay, so we're going to do Warrior 1 now. Are you ready? Going to stand at the front of your mat. And a lot of times, Warrior one is taught by taking a step forward. And that also places a shearing action on the knee joint. So I like to teach the standing postures by taking a step back, which does not place that shearing action on the knee joint. So stand at the front of your mat, and you're going to take a step back with your left foot. Take a nice big step. And you're going to line up your feet. So again, men, it's heel to arch, women, heel to heel. You're going to, as much as you can, turn your hips to face the front of your mat. But you don't want to irritate your back knee joint, okay? So you can even pick up your back foot and come on your toe. That is totally an absolutely fine option, because I would rather have a nice straight line from your hip bone to your knee joint to your ankle here if your hips aren't open enough to be facing forward with your foot on an angle here. Okay? So that's something that will happen over time, maybe even not, as you practice yoga. But this is a totally fine option as far as I'm concerned here in Warrior 1, and it creates a way better alignment, hip, knee, ankle, and one that I give a lot of times in my yoga classes if there's torquing in your knee. Okay, now here's where you're going to use that action that we just did in chair pose of sinking through your buttocks, which is way better than bending your knee. And then your arms come up. There's Warrior 1. So here's a Dan Millman quote for you. The time is now. The place is here. Stay in the present. You can do nothing to change the past, and the future will never come exactly as you plan or hope for. And find a way to let this posture out of your body. Whew, I told you this pose builds strength in your body. Whew, I feel my quads burning. All right, so let's do Warrior 1 on the other side. And hopefully I'll give you any cues I might have missed on the first side. So stand at the front of your mat. You're going to take a big step back with your right foot. So the step back is going to be about the length of one of your legs. This whole rug is moving every time I take a step. Okay, there. Now you're going to turn your hips to face the front of your mat. And you're going to choose what position you want your back foot in, either on the angle or you can come right up onto your toes. You're going to sink down through your front left hip joint, and your front leg is going to come as much as you can towards a 90-degree angle. And then you're going to bring your arms straight up. And there's your Warrior 1. So you're facing your life head on, like the fearless warrior you are. Not hiding, not burying yourself in television or food or alcohol or recreational drugs, but facing your life head on. Okay, great. And then find a way to let that out of your body. And we're going to do Warrior 3 now. So once you've really looked honestly at your life and turned inward and turned off all that external noise, you will know what action to take in your life. And so we'll come into Warrior 3. So you're going to stand on your right leg, and it's okay to bend your right leg, especially because we didn't do a lot of poses to really lengthen and open up your hamstrings. So bring your arms straight up, and you're going to imagine that your body's like a teeter-totter. Your right leg is going to be the one thing that's going to stay still, and then you're going to just bend the whole rest of your body in a straight line over your right leg. And then I've got another Dan Millman quote for you. And he says, "Action always happens in the present because it is an expression of the body which can only exist in the here and now. But the mind is like a phantom that lives only in the past or the future. Its only power over you is to draw your attention out of the present." And you can also use a wall or a chair to support you with this too. Okay. And then you can let this wash out of your body. Okay. So action takes courage, but also in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the spiritual text where all these warrior poses come from, you know, Arjuna says that not taking action is also an action. So we can sometimes think that we can not take action, but not taking action is just as much as an action too. So you can't get off the hook that easily. So what did Joy say at the beginning in her testimonial? Yoga is not a spectator sport, so we're all going to do this together. I feel like this might be the spot where some of you are watching. Okay, so this time on your left leg, your arms are going to come straight up, and then your body is going to just tip over your left leg. Right leg's going to go back. You're going to come over your torso. And so another Dan Millman quote. "Well, some of us act without thinking. Too many of us think without acting." Ta-da! Good enough. All right. So those were our warrior poses, and we're going to come down onto our backs now and have some fun with happy baby pose. Lie on your back. Okay, so it's really important to be kind to ourselves through this whole process, just like we would be kind to a baby. And so I only have 2 more quotes for you, I promise. I kind of went looking for Dan Millman quotes for the Peaceful Warrior to finish our class, and then, oh my God, I found all these great Dan Millman quotes that were just like so great for all the poses. So I couldn't help myself. Okay, so Dan Millman says, "So be gentle with yourself. Show yourself the same kindness and patience you might show a young child, the child you once were. If you won't be your own friend, who will be? If, when playing an opponent, you are also opposing yourself, you will be outnumbered." That was so brilliant. Okay, so happy baby pose. This is such a fun pose. Lying on your back, bend your knees. And if you have any babies in your life, you just watch them. They'll show you how to do this pose brilliantly, far more brilliantly than I can show you how to do it. You're going to bend your knees in, put your feet up towards the ceiling, And then you're going to reach around and hold on to the outside edges of your feet. Draw your knees towards your armpits. If you can't reach, you can use your yoga strap and reach them around your feet. So that's it. Happy baby pose. You can see we did all those yoga postures that make it easy for our legs to bend this way. And this is a fun pose to do at the end of class after we've gotten our bodies ready for this. And you can rock and roll and do what a baby would do in this pose. You can put your feet in your mouth if you want. Okay, and then just to release this pose, shake your arms and legs out. And then lower your arms and legs to the ground, and you'll come right into Shavasana. So tuck your tailbone under, tuck your shoulder blades under, and find a comfortable position to rest in. Make sure your chin and forehead are level. And you can rest here, and I'm going to come up to read you your final quote. And so this is a quote from Dan Millman, the Peaceful Warrior. And to me, this quote really speaks to the essence of Warrior One pose. So Dan Millman says, "It may be true that the unexamined life is not worth living, but neither is the unlived life worth examining." I'll say that again. I think it bears repeating. It may be true that the unexamined life is not worth living, but neither is the unlived life worth examining. So allow that to sink in. Allow your practice to sink in. So gradually allow your breath to deepen. And let your deepening of breath be a way to invite movement back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Stretch out. And When you're ready, you can bend your knees. Roll to your right side. And make your way up to sitting. So thank you for joining me for episode 157 of Namaste Yoga. I will see you on the membership site. And I will see you next week for episode 158. I think we've got one more left for 2012. Then we'll be in a brand new year. Namaste.